Skirt, skirt. Told you we always been ready. I don't need people that's petty, that weigh on me heavy while I'm being steady. I need a record with Felly. We get it bouncing like Betty's, I feel like I'm Nelly. Don't bring the beef like a deli. It's leave on that levy, no sleeping on me like I'm Freddy. Chris Breeze, how I do, hit him with the moves. Left hand step back, ballin' like I'm Coos. All faith, God's plan, you just gotta choose. God slaps, nothing left to prove. Y'all gotta leave me alone. Lately I've been in my zone. Told them no cap like I fitted, but lately the flows have been straight off the dome. I feel like I'm MVP, like my name Patty Mahomes. If it ain't about money, don't hit up my phone, cause lately I've been in my zone.
Hello, welcome to the Cowboys Show, hosted by Ben Carey and Nick Gronerad, combining expert human opinions with cutting-edge simulation models to help you arrive at the best picks each week. Inside Edge Community. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to today's stream. We have Week 18 NFL action, the last regular season day of the season. And what a journey it's been, Ben.
It's been an interesting journey. A lot of COVID.
Are there any storylines from the season other than COVID?
Well,
no.
No.
No, I mean, yeah.
It's wide open, I guess. I mean, I think next week, playoff start, there's a lot of teams that could potentially win the Super Bowl. So,
Yeah, I feel like this season is kind of refreshing from that perspective. It doesn't feel like there's that definite number one team. I mean, the teams that have been at the top from the past couple of years are still good. The Chiefs and the Bucs, the two teams that played in the Super Bowl last year, they still look good, but they don't look so dominant. They don't look like such overwhelming opponents to have to face. So I'm excited for the parity that we've seen in the top 2/3 of the league this year.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's gonna be interesting to see who comes out of both sides, right? Mm-hmm. So, not the Broncos.
Yeah, no, not the Broncos. Speaking of the Broncos, though,
not Vic Fangio.
Yeah, breaking news from Larry, the beat reporter. Fangio and Schumer are out in Denver. Let's take a second to talk about that, Ben. You're a Broncos fan. I know you've been asking for this.
Yeah, it was a matter of time. You know what's interesting is that if the Broncos would have won yesterday, does this happen? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, the Broncos played a pretty good game yesterday, all things considered.
They're up 1, driving to score a touchdown, more or less. And there's the scoop and score.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, that was the ball game.
That was the game, yeah.
So, real quick, I see we got Larry again in the chat and Pick 6. Hope everyone else is having a good morning. Loco J, good morning. So, today is going to be very slightly different from previous Sundays. I mean, fundamentally, not so different. But because of the fact that this is Week 18, there's a lot of games where neither team has anything to play for. And there's going to be also a lot of games where only one team has something to play for. Games where potentially starters are going to get rested halfway through. The actual leans that we have on the game level are going to be a little bit light today, I would say. But there's a lot of interesting things to talk about on the prop side of things. So there's a lot of players who have monetary incentives for reaching certain milestones. And as we have players pop up that are going to be competing for those milestones, we're going to talk about them, and I have a little ticker that we're going to run across the bottom. There's nothing there right now. That's the empty space that you see at the bottom of the screen. But we're just going to be keeping track of those. And if there's any of them that Ben and I actually like, that we think that there's still good value betting on these players to hit their incentives, we'll make a note of it in the lean section. We usually don't do props there on Sundays, but we're going to make an exception this week. And then if we think that any of these lines are trappy or bad value, we'll make a note of that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a lot of them floating around, so we'll make sure to at least touch on them, let you know if we have anything, and if we miss any as we go through each game, let us know. Because there are a lot of little, records within organizations and things that we could miss, and some of those maybe are warranted for a player to actually, have a pretty good performance. Some could be a little bit of fluff. So we'll give you our best idea on some of those.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see we got RP Goated here. Thank you for checking out the stream. Same with Usaid, and good morning, Nabil. So Ben, let's hop into the first game of the day, and this is how you know it's Week 18. Looking at this line, we have the Green Bay Packers going on the road to Detroit, taking on the Lions. I think it might be fair to say that this is the best team in the league against the third worst team in the league. But the Lions, as the third worst team in the league, are only 3-point underdogs in this game. And the over-under is set at 44.5. And of course, the only reason that the Lions are only 3-point underdogs is the high likelihood that the Packers are going to be resting people. I actually think that Aaron Rodgers and gang are going to be starting.
Yeah, I think so.
But how much of the game they actually play is very much up in the air. The Packers are not playing for anything. They have the number 1 seed in the NFC clinched. This game is purely for pride. And honestly, I don't know how much pride the Packers derive from beating the Lions again.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some guys who are out on the Packers side. Aaron Jones is not playing. Jair Alexander is not playing. But it looks like a lot of the offensive line is at least going to start. Aaron Rodgers is going to start, just get a couple reps in. It's kind of, I would assume, more or less like a preseason game. So let me...
Aaron Jones inactive.
Yeah, Aaron Jones inactive, like I just said.
Okay, sorry, I missed it. There's a lot going on right now, guys.
Yeah, there is. So take this model score with a grain of salt. Again, this is... We can't account for the fact that players are going to be benched in the middle of the game. We have the Packers by 6.5, 7 points in this game. We have the over. I actually think the over is a potentially interesting look here.
Mm-hmm.
I think that with the Packers' offense only getting a couple drives, I do think that they're... I mean, if they're gonna put Rodgers out there, it's not going to be to take empty snaps. They can do that in practice.
Right.
I think that the Packers...
and there's... Yeah. What does he get doing that? It's either he's in and he's playing, or he's
exactly
not going to be on the field, and Jordan Love's in.
So I think the Packers might come out hot, and then I think when the backups come in, we could see Detroit put up some points. So I think Nabil kind of has the right angle here. It says took Packers first half. I might even want to go first quarter. If you're looking at Packers.
First drive?
Drive. Packers to win the coin flip.
50-50.
Yeah.
Nick, random question. If you could bet on coin flips and it was plus 110 odds, would you do it?
Of course.
Yeah?
You make money on that in the long run. That's like the easiest plus EV bet there is.
But you wouldn't like do anything crazy from a bankroll management perspective.
I mean, I would if I could guarantee myself a lot of coin flips, I would.
That's true.
I would.
There you go. That's the right answer. That's what I was looking for. Max play.
No, you don't max play one coin flip, but you. I mean, you Kelly criteria.
Absolutely.
One coin flip, knowing that you have many more coin flips to come.
Nick, another thing too with the Lions, they're gonna go for it on 4th downs and stuff too. So they're gonna try to score. They're gonna try to put up points. Dan Campbell, he's not taking this game off. So I do like the angle of an over here.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and throw an over up as our lean in this game. So real quick, I don't want to spend too much time on any of these games that don't really have much substantial to talk about, because we do have a lot of interesting things to talk about later on. But are there any players playing for incentives or records in this game?
To my knowledge, nothing that I've found. But guys, like we mentioned, let us know in the chat if we're missing anything. But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I didn't see anything with this game other than the Lions playing for their pride.
Yeah.
That's about it. Oh wait, actually, there's an Aaron Rodgers needs to be top 3 in completion percentage to earn $100,000.
$100,000 doesn't matter to Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. See, some of these are tough because it's like there's other.
You're not going to get a Rodgers prop anyways.
Yeah, and some of these are tough too because there's other moving pieces. So I like the ones where it's like, here's the number, here's your payout. It's very black and white. So I would probably stay away from the Aaron Rodgers one. And they're not going to keep Aaron Rodgers in the fourth quarter to hit this.
No, you're not going to see an Aaron Rodgers prop listed anywhere. It's not. It's not worth talking about.
Yeah. So.
Also, thank you guys for all the followers all in Puppy Toots. That is a name.
and
Pinky
my
Croc
dog.
and my boy Blake.
I think we need to have an all name follower team. That's gotta be
I think we should also. I cannot wait to stop doing these streams. Not because I hate them, but because the sun is coming straight through my window.
Oh, at this
straight
time.
at my face, through the blinds, through the shades. I can't handle it anymore.
The best name though so far, which was our first follower, is Paul's Modeling Company. Yeah, no one's gonna beat that one.
No, Paul's a goat. All right, game number 2. We have the Chicago Bears and the Minnesota Vikings. No Justin Fields today. It is Andy Dalton starting at quarterback for the Bears. Kirk Cousins is back, starting for the Vikings. And honestly, I've been pretty vocal all year that I think that the Bears are a better team with Andy Dalton at quarterback, at least right now. Justin Fields probably the guy moving forward, but I think Dalton gives them the best chance to put up points in the here and now.
Absolutely, and you've been on that train since probably week 6 or 7, maybe.
So Chicago is a 4-point underdog. Minnesota's 4-point favorite in Minnesota. Total in this game is set at 44.5. I'm pretty sure this game has no playoff implications. Everybody out here just fighting for pride. So I don't really have much of a thought about this game. I mean, the model likes Minnesota by a point. I think that I honestly, I guess both quarterbacks are a little bit motivated just to show that they're worth giving playing time to. Kirk Cousins, I mean, of course, has been much maligned over the last few years. Andy Dalton, I'm pretty sure his contract is up at the end of the year. And Chicago is not the long-term spot for him with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
But I don't really have a whole lot of thought here. Probably gun to my head, take Minnesota. But I don't have a gun to my head, so I don't have to make that decision.
Yeah, I don't have a gun to my head either. It is what it is. It's two teams kind of just playing for pride, as we said. And one interesting note, Nick, that we have to make on this game is I think this is official that Mike Zimmer is no longer going to be the head coach for the Vikings after this game.
Is
which
this
is
like
kind of weird.
Official or like unofficial official?
I'm pretty sure it's Adam Schefter official, but we can double check that.
So it's unofficial official. It's not like the Vikings have put out a press release. I trust Adam Schefter completely.
Yeah.
But he's not actually responsible for making the decisions.
Absolutely. But it is unique because it's like headed into the game, you know that you're going to be canned. Like I don't know how often that happens. So it is something to think about. I don't really know how that affects everything because I could make a case for both sides. Like Minnesota's not going to be focused, or they are. It's one of those speculation type plays.
I hate speculating on that kind of thing. Some people like it. Some people are maybe even good at it. I think it's over the long run, it's not a good EV thing to be speculating on players' motivation in a spot like this. Are there any player props?
Yes, there's one.
And what is that?
So Justin Jefferson, he needs 124 receiving yards for the single season Viking franchise record. And his prop, Nick, I'm showing 92.5 on FanDuel, and then all the way up to 99, 98 on Caesars and MGM. So that's high. It scares me a little bit because, like I mentioned with Zimmer, there's a lot of moving parts in this one. The Bears aren't the worst defense. It's a lot of yards for Justin Jefferson. This is one that I'm staying off of myself.
Yeah, and I think that with these like franchise record type things, it's not as much of an incentive as, say, a financial incentive is for,
or like a season or a NFL record, right?
Yeah, it's also, especially considering, right, with a record like this, there's other guys on this team that might want this record in the future. Or that could compete for it. I mean, Adam Thielen's not playing.
I guess.
But
yeah.
I don't really buy
KJ
into
Osborne?
KJ Osborne? Dalvin Cook, Vikings franchise receiving record? No. I mean, I don't buy into it a whole lot. At least relative to financial incentives for players, where we've seen year after year that guys really do come out and try and get their guys the bag.
Agreed.
So I think we can go ahead and throw up a fade for this game. Are you okay with that?
Yep.
DB Track says, I think Mooney has a money incentive. Let us know what that is. Miller Gamble says, you guys have small PPs. Nick has a small PP. Yes, I have an extraordinarily small PP. Thank you for pointing that out.
That's a random ass thing to say.
Larry, you know what to do. Pressure's on.
Kill him.
This is going to be Larry's first ever action as moderator.
Oh, nice. Enjoy the power, brother.
I'll let Larry figure it out.
Yeah, and let us know the Mooney one too. I'm curious on that one.
Yeah, we definitely don't have an exhaustive list of all of these things. No, bricked up. I'm bricked down right now. All right, game number 3. New England and Miami. The Miami Dolphins are 6-point underdogs at home. Over-under in this game is set at 40. The model has this game as basically a push. It's got New England winning, but by a little bit less than a point. So actually a pretty substantial Dolphins cover at home. Total-wise, model says this is going to be basically spot on. I don't think that these teams have a whole lot to play for. I know Miami is eliminated from the playoffs. There is nothing that can happen that could have them end up in the playoffs. I think that they could potentially tie a wild card record, but lose on tiebreakers no matter what happens.
Yep.
And for New England, I guess New England is actually competing with Buffalo to win the division. So that's important for them. That being said, important. Yeah, I think that Miami's going to come out and play. So Loco J says teams eliminated from the playoffs playing a team that has to win in order to make the playoffs are 95 and 56 ATS since 1990. The teams that fall under this category today are the Jaguars and the Falcons from Craps. So we'll talk about that when we get to some of those games. But I even feel like in a situation like this, even though it doesn't apply to that stat, these are all divisional games today. And if one of the teams has something to play for, their division rival wants to stop them. They want to keep them out. They want to hinder their playoff aspirations in whatever way.
And Nick, on top of that, Miami's 8-8 right now. So they want to win this game to go 9-8, not 8-9. So if anyone was questioning, Miami isn't going to come out, especially at home, right? And I actually think traditionally, Miami against the Patriots over time at home in Miami has actually fared pretty well against Bill. So something to think about there. I'm not the biggest trend guy, but there's a lot going on with Miami here, even though they're out of the playoffs. So I think they're going to come out and have a decent game. I really do.
Yeah, I kind of like Miami here. I don't. Is that worthy of a lean?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and also I want to point out, because we do have a lot of new people here today, all of these. So we have no game level official picks this week. I think any action that you want to take based on our leans should be very small. I would say probably in like the half unit territory, unless there's something about the game that you also like.
Mm-hmm. A max,
to give you a little bit
at
more
least
confidence.
a max of a unit. Like that's your max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, tough week, and honestly, as people who do this, I guess it's our job. I think that the responsible thing to do is to advise people that sometimes it's a tough week and you don't have to have action. It's just better for your bankroll in the long term to not force anything.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, throw up Miami as a lean here. I do think that they come out and play hard against New England. Any player prop incentive stuff?
Yes,
with this game,
there is one big one. Jalen Waddle. He needs 3 receptions for the single season rookie record, Nick. And I wanted to pull up what it was, and one of the books took it down. Thought it was at 3.5, but I'm having trouble finding it now. Another angle you could look at is his over receiving yards too, but I wouldn't play it blindly just because of the receptions. That doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. But Waddle has been more involved in the offense over the last few games, and I think Tua and him are starting to finally get a rhythm going on too.
Mm.
So I kind of like that angle. I just want to find out what the receptions number is at. Do you see it anywhere?
I can't look right now. I have too much stuff going on. I threw up the 3.5 because that's what you said it was. If anybody sees a Jalen Waddle receptions prop, let us know what that's at, so I can make sure that this is correct or adjust it if what I have up is wrong.
Give me 5 seconds, Nick. I think I retrieved it.
But Jalen Waddle is an extremely good player. I think that what he does well and what Tua does well really mesh together.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why Waddle has had such a good season.
Yeah, I can't find it, but if anyone finds it, let us know what it's at.
So let's go ahead and move on to the next game. We do have 11 more games to cover in the next hour. So we've got Indianapolis going on the road to Jacksonville. Jacksonville, 14.5-point underdogs, over under set at 43.5. This game, I think, has been one of the most talked about games on Twitter of the week. There's a lot of people have been really heavy on Indy. A lot of people have been really heavy on Jacksonville. And like Loco J was talking about earlier, this is one of those situations where we have a team fighting for their playoff lives. The Colts win and they're in. Going up against a dumpster fire in the Jacksonville Jaguars. That being said, this spread was flying. This was up to what, 16.5 or something? At some point?
And I bet it at 16, Nick. I officially bet it at 16
so
plus 16
you took
for
Jags plus
the Jags.
16. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and go ahead, Nick.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, at 16, I absolutely love this number because I think what happened is a lot of people were like, well, the Colts are in a must-win situation, right? Like, they're going to come out and destroy Jacksonville. But the key here is it's a must-win, not a must-cover, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
And that cannot be emphasized enough. We kind of even saw that with the Chiefs last night, right? It wasn't a must-win, but it was a should-win.
Yeah. Well, this a little different, Nick, because if the Colts lose, they're not in the playoffs, versus if the Chiefs lost, they're still in.
I think the Colts can still make the playoffs if they lose. It'll be hard.
No. Oh, if
maybe.
I thought. Oh, if it's the tie situation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's not technically a must-win.
We'll consider it a must win. I don't know all of the.
I do. It's okay. So here's what it is: if Jacksonville beats Indy, if the Raiders and the Chargers tie, they would both get in, and Indy wouldn't get in. That's the only way Indy doesn't get in. It's the only scenario. But wouldn't that be hilarious though if like the teams is tied and they shook hands? They said, "No, let's not risk anything."
I mean, you never know. So they flexed that game back to a later time. So this game happens in the 1:00 Eastern window, and the Steelers-Ravens game, which is the other one with playoff implications in the AFC, also happens in the 1:00 window. Mm-hmm. So by the time the Chargers and Raiders play, they will know that, hey, we can tie this game and both make the playoffs. I don't think they'll actually do that, but you never know. Also, the NFL actually has it in its bylaws that you can't do that. Mm-hmm. So that's another point. Back to the game. This number's down to 14.5. Do you still like the Jags at 14.5?
I do. I do like it at 14.5. Would I bet it at 14.5? Yeah, I would. Look, I got it at plus 16. I love the value there. I knew it wasn't going to get up to 17, but Jacksonville is a team that has looked pretty bad. And then when Urban Meyer was fired, people thought it was going to turn around, and I told everyone, no, that's not going to happen, and it didn't happen. But here they are, Nick. They're sitting. What's the record at? I think they have 2 wins.
The Jaguars are sitting at 2-14.
2-14, but Indy has not had the best luck in Jacksonville over the last couple years. I mean, the Jags are just a team that has nothing to lose. So 16, maybe we get a backdoor cover. Yeah, I like the Jags here.
Mm-hmm. And actually, yeah, I'm showing this now at 14.
Okay.
Garrett just said that it's at 14 for him. I'm showing Vegas Insider Consensus, and basically every book, except for WinBet, has this down to 14. So I actually think that that's a huge change here.
Absolutely.
Putting that on the key number. So at 14, do we want to take Jacksonville off?
We don't have a 14.5 anywhere?
Not on any major book.
No, it's fine. I think 14 for a lean perspective, that's fine. Okay. As long as it's not 13.5.
Yeah, 14 though, bare minimum. That is the lowest number you should bet this at.
And of course, the big prop we have to talk about, Nick. Mm-hmm. Marvin Jones. If he can get 4 receptions today, he will get a $500,000 payout. The only issue with this is where the number's at currently. And last night, you could have grabbed it at 3.5 at minus 145, even up to, I think it was minus 170 on DraftKings, but at most books now, it's 3.5 minus 220, or it's 4.5 at plus money. And with this incentive, I don't want to play anything over 4.5 because that kind of just takes away the point of why we're betting it, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because you if you're betting the prop based on the incentive, you don't want to be in a situation where your prop can miss but the incentive hits.
I'll be right back.
All right. He was literally like right back. So, moving on to the next game, we have the New York Jets and the Buffalo Bills in a game where the Jets really aren't playing for much of anything. But the Bills, like we talked about with the Patriots earlier, are fighting for the division crown in the AFC East. I think the Bills have, for sure, the much easier game than the Patriots do. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but the Bills will clinch the AFC East if they beat the Jets.
That's correct. Bills win, they clinch.
They don't have to, again, they don't have to cover. There's no incentive playoff-wise for them covering. But a win is very important for the Bills here.
Yep.
So they're 16.5-point favorites against the Jets at home. The Jets have actually been playing quite well over the last couple of weeks, especially last week against Tampa Bay. They looked legitimately good against a really solid team. Larry says Braxton Berrios is out for the Jets. I think that's fine. I don't think Berrios is a huge difference maker for them. Oh, I guess maybe with Crowder also out, Berrios is a little bit more important. They both kind of play that slot role, and having neither of them is a bit of a detriment. I think Elijah Moore is also out for the Jets, so a thin receiving corps. But it really has been the ground game that has got things going for the Jets. The Bills, though, are a pretty tough run D. So do you have any thoughts here?
Yeah, I mean, I lean with the Jets. Kind of a similar situation, right? Like what I mentioned with Indy, Jacksonville, but I don't know. Buffalo is a team that has covered these big spreads, and I could just see them like coming out and kind of making a statement, right? That's in the back of my mind. So I'm actually okay with not having to lean here unless you feel strongly about the Jets.
So I actually kind of like what Stevenson in the chat just said. This kind of feels like a good over spot. So this total is low. The total is only 40.5. The Jets have been inconsistent, but they put up points last week against one of the best defenses in the league in Tampa Bay. And I think that also so the Jets actually have put up 24 plus 3 weeks in a row against Tampa, against Jacksonville, and against Miami. Oh, Crowder's in. That's good to know. So I think that really neutralizes the Berrios loss. I thought Crowder was on IR. I didn't see him coming back.
I'm actually surprised they're playing him.
Yeah.
Like, well.
Oh, heavy wins in Buffalo.
Heavy wins.
Weather's
that
bad.
that would explain why Zach Wilson's passing prop's only at 174 on let's see, Caesars. So it's pretty low.
Okay, yeah. So let's fade this game.
Yeah.
Are there any player props? Zach Wilson needs 500 passing yards. 28-mile-an-hour wins.
No, Zach Wilson needs 1,000 to break a record.
If Zach Wilson throws for 6,000 yards today, he will break the NFL record for passing yards in a season.
Well, someone made a meme about Drew Lock, and they said he needs 7,000 to break Aaron Rodgers. I was like, okay.
Yeah, if he just throws for 70,000 yards today, he'll break the career passing yards record.
Yeah,
it's easy.
I am not seeing any sort of incentives in this
negative
game.
14 interceptions
To break the most negative yards in a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no incentives here that I'm seeing. And so I got so caught up on the Jets, Nick. I'm like, what incentives do the Jets have? There are a few actually. But there's Stephon Diggs. He needs 6 receptions for $1.5 million.
Ooh.
Yeah, and then Stevenson put it in the chat. But let's see here. So he needs 6. And of course, what do the books have it at, Nick? Try to guess.
6.5.
Of course.
They know. They're catching on.
Yeah, and especially too with the weather, if it was at 5.5, I would be like, yes. But 6.5, like Nick said, you don't want to be caught with your pants down and you get 6, and then you're like, oh crap, he hit it. But I need one more. That's the worst position to be in.
Yeah, it really is.
So I would stay away from this one, especially with the weather. I was actually thinking about making a case for it, but with the winds,
Yeah, so you know what? Don't they sometimes pay out these incentives anyways as like a good faith gesture if you're close?
They sometimes do, especially with the yards, but I can't say like what team does what. What if they come out and make a statement? They're like, we're going to just pay everybody no matter what.
Yeah, I almost might lean an under on that Stephon Diggs receptions. Especially because you get that half-yard buffer where he can get exactly 6 and then they'll just run the ball the rest of the game in the weather.
Yeah. What a plot twist. I would say that would be my lean. Man, yeah. I wish there was a 5.5, but
yeah, I think
you're not going to get that.
At 6.5, it feels dirty, but I would probably lean under.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, we have the Carolina Panthers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Bucks 9.5-point favorites at home. Over under is set at 42. So Ben, how many yards does Antonio Brown need to?
A lot, and he needs a new shirt.
He needs a new team.
He needs a lot of things.
Antonio Brown does need a lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor guy. I hope he's okay. It's fun. It's all fun and games to laugh at him, but mental health is no joke.
Yeah. Though there are a few other ones in here, but we'll start with the spread and total, of course.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is a situation where the model actually has the favorite covering by quite a few points, which you usually don't see from the model with these big spreads. But we have Tampa winning by more than 13 points. This Carolina team is bad. I am not a fan. I guess the only piece of concern is Tampa kind of tossing in the towel at some point, but I don't really think that they will.
Me either. You know why, Nick?
Why?
I really do believe that Tom Brady. Well, and I've heard him say that on the Man in the Arena. He does think it's important to play in the last game of the season, and I think with them they have to win to get the 2 seed.
Yeah, the 2 seed.
Yeah, so they just need to win. But I like the angle of Tampa Bay just coming out and having a really strong performance, especially with some of these incentives with Tom Brady and Gronk and Mike Evans, which we'll get into in a second. So I don't think they're going to sit Brady at halftime. I think he goes until like the third quarter, just based on past seasons, Brady playing in these games. And I think last season, same deal. Arians had him out there. So yeah, I like Tampa Bay to cover.
Yeah, I'm down for that. I think, and I don't really think Carolina's going to throw up all that much of a roadblock for him.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about these player props. I'm going to thank all the new followers as soon as we wrap this game up. Appreciate all of those very much. So Ben, what are the player prop incentives in this game?
Yeah, so with Tom Brady, he needs to be top 5 in passer rating for 560,000.
All right.
He's 8th right now, so that's one.
Yeah, that's not something that we can really bet on, though.
Yeah, well, you can bet on.
You can't bet on a completion percentage.
True, but him to have like a big game, I guess you could look at that angle.
Mm-hmm.
But Gronkowski, he needs 7 receptions for 500,000. And I'm just pulling up. So this number is actually at 6.5 at 105, minus 105. A BetMGM minus 120 on FanDuel. And then he needs 3 touchdowns for 500,000. That's a stretch. But in all seriousness, how do you feel about the? Oh wait, 1 second.
Also, Stevenson, in the Cowboys game, the Cowboys needed to win that to have a shot at the number 2 seed in the East, which in the NFC, which comes with 2 home games in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So they did have, I mean, not like in or out, but they did have seeding implications to play for.
So Nick, Gronkowski, 7 receptions for 500,000, 85 yards for another 500,000. His numbers are at 64.5. Actually, that's juiced to minus 155. But anyways, how do you feel about just Gronk as a whole having a big game today?
I think it'll happen. I mean, we've seen Tom Brady step up for his guys in these situations before. Like Antonio Brown last year he needed a ton of receptions. I mean, not anywhere near as much as what Gronk needs today to hit a big bonus. And he got just like short pass after short pass after short pass, just pretty obviously trying to force feed him the ball just to boost his stat line and get him the incentives that he needed. And I think, Gronk and Brady, they go way back. Yeah, if Brady stepped up for AB like that last year, I think he'll do the same for Gronk this year. I think that the receptions are a little bit safer than the yards. But
it's more controllable, you would say?
yeah, it's much more controllable because you can throw some short passes for like 2 to 5 yards type of deal.
So, quick question on receiving yards. Over 64.5 is at minus 155, but then over 74.5 is minus 110. I think if you're going to play this for the yards, you might as well just do the over 74, right?
Yeah, and you said that was plus 110?
Minus 110.
Minus 110. Okay.
Yeah. And then I like receptions. I do agree. Minus 120 at over 6.5. I think that's a good look for Gronk. And then Mike Evans, he needs, I believe, 64. Let me just pull up that actual number.
Yeah. Also, while you're doing that, I'm going to respond to something in the chat. Schwarter said on the Packers game, I have first half spread higher than the full game spread. So I think the reason for that, and it's super rare. There's no real reason aside from something systematic, like the fact that Aaron Rodgers is starting the game. The Packers are really bringing out the A team. But I think that the plan for them is to have them play a couple drives and then rest them, which is why you're seeing a high first half number for the Packers when they have the number one team out, but the full game is much lower. Also, what's up, Canadian God? Thanks for tuning into the stream.
Yep, Drew Lock is the go.
Drew Lock is the go. Drew Lock is the only lock in sports betting.
Yep.
So Ben, what is this other prop incentive?
So Mike Evans, he needs 54 yards to have his 10th straight 100 or 1,000 yard receiving season. He needs 54 yards. The number is at 69.5. So,
Yeah, it doesn't really line up.
Doesn't line up. Over 5.5 receptions.
No, especially with Gronk, right? There's such a strong negative correlation between reception props with players on the same team.
So we like the Gronk.
Yeah.
Gronk over receptions 6.5.
Yeah. Also,
I like that one too.
Larry said he checked 10 books for Waddle, and none of them are offering receptions.
They're scaredy cats.
Yeah, it's kind of, I guess, the same deal with Marvin Jones, right? That's why they're offering the 3.5 at like minus 220 now.
Yeah,
it's because they know everybody's going to be betting it. The books 100%. Have really caught on to the prop angle over the last couple of years. Also, what's up, Peyton? And yeah, I'm gonna go through and thank some followers. This is a big stream for us. Appreciate again everybody, both new and returning, for tuning in with us today. So over the last half hour or so, thank you, Big Toast, Lord Goat, Northside, Han Solo, M Smith, T Hank, Wallery Beeves, C Silly, Blackwell, Canadian God, Ben Palmer, Schwarter, T Lounds. Appreciate all you guys. Thank you very much. All right. On to the next one. We've got the Tennessee Titans and the Houston Texans. Texans, 10.5-point dogs at home. Over under set at 40.5. So for anybody who's been around for a while, you know that the model likes the Texans quite a bit. Probably a little bit more so than they deserve. So the model has the Titans winning this game by about 2, as opposed to 10. Total basically spot on the 42.5. Nothing there. Ben, any thoughts on this game?
Not really. Not really. It's an ugly game for sure.
It is definitely an ugly game. So the Titans are actually playing for something. The Titans, I believe, clinch the number 1 seed in the AFC with a win here. They have the tiebreaker over the Chiefs. They have, and those are the only 2 teams that can fight for it right now. But that is worth noting here. But again, they don't get the number 1 seed for covering 10.5. They just get the number 1 seed for winning the game. Derrick Henry probably going to be back for the playoffs, but is not going to be playing in this game. Davis Mills, Ben, do you think that Davis Mills has a future as a quarterback in this league?
If you would have asked
who
me
actually
that,
sees the field?
if you would have asked me that 10 weeks ago, I would have said no. But he's turned it around. He's not turning the ball over. That's a. Yes, I would say yes, he does.
Mm-hmm. I could see him having a bit of a journeyman type career. I don't think he's going to be the guy, but I think he can be one of these, like maybe Case Keenum types, who will jump around the league for years and years. But I mean, and see starts, so maybe see 20 or 30 starts in his career, but never really be the guy for a team. That's kind of what I see Davis Mills at.
Yep.
So any leans for this game? I kind of want to stay away from this.
Yeah, I say we stay away from this one. Yeah. But I do have a really interesting player prop incentive that I actually like quite a bit.
And what is that?
So it's Rex Burkhead. It's just funny because like if we would say like 7 weeks ago that we'd be talking about Rex Burkhead.
Yeah,
like,
Rex,
what?
Like, why does Rex Burkhead have incentives in his contract?
I mean, they're in there. They're in there. You just gotta.
Burkhead, one snap incentive.
He calls his agent. He's like, "Hey, don't we have something in there?" Mm-hmm. Yeah, we do. So it's Rex Burkhead. He needs 30% of offensive snaps to earn $125,000, which you can't bet on. But what you can bet on to some extent is that he needs 103 total yards for $125,000. Now here's 103 total yards. Okay. So here's where it gets kind of interesting, where the books are kind of like giving us a crack at this, but not a whole crack. So you can't bet on the total yards. I'm not seeing that on any book, but I'm seeing rushing yards, and I see 41.5 to the over. And I actually kind of like that, Nick. I know Tennessee's defense has been solid, and I know David Johnson is active in this one. But Texans have been able to run the ball. Burkhead is getting good, decent yardage, and I think he gets 12 plus carries in this one. I think he hits over.
Yeah, I think that's a solid play as well. I mean, Johnson's been playing well. Burkhead's actually been playing pretty well these last couple of weeks. And again,
downhill runner. He picks up 4 or 5 yards. That's a good guy to bet on. He's not trying to get flashy and trying to break one. He's been very consistent.
Yeah, so I think that's a pretty good angle. If anybody does see a rushing plus receiving prop for Rex Burkhead, let us know. We'd love to see if we can have a prop that actually matches up. But again, the books are very sensitive to this right now, and you can't offer a Burkhead over under 103.
No.
Right. All right. So again, thank you all for the follows rolling in. R. Warren, Shappy, Jay Hurley, Big Ol' Smitty, not buying it. Appreciate all those.
Big old Smitty.
Yeah, and Canadian God asked about Burkhead anytime touchdown. We typically don't like touchdown props. But I mean, if you think Burkhead's gonna get the ball, he's guy who could put ball in basket, put ball in end zone.
Hey Nick, this is kind of funny.
From one side of the line to the other side of the line.
So Nick, this is funny. Burkhead has played 33.5% of his offensive snaps of the Texans' offensive snaps this season, and he needs to hit over 30 for that incentive. Wouldn't that be a dick move if the Texans just like sat him in the second half?
That's how you get free agents to never sign for your team.
Yeah,
is by screwing people over on their incentives like that.
Yeah, so that would be just organizational suicide.
Yeah, that being said, if there was any franchise that would do that, I would say the Texans are right up there.
Well, my other point I was going to make is how much worse can the Texans' perception get? But I think that would actually do it.
Yeah,
because when Hopkins and all those guys left, they were like, don't play for the Texans, which is pretty, that's like leaving an employer and being like, don't ever work for this company. But NFL is like a tight-knit community. Like,
yeah, I mean, everybody,
that's
for the most part, unless you're like Vontaze Burfict, has respect for the other players out there.
He's trying to kill people. Yeah,
if you're Vontaze Burfict, you have whatever the opposite of respect is.
Yeah.
All right. So
this game.
Next up, this game. The Washington football team. This is the last game that we can ever call them the Washington football team. I think on February 2nd, they're announcing a new name. You can bet on that, by the way. We personally don't do very much handicapping of team name changes, although I do think that the Washington Admirals is the betting favorite.
I thought it leaked. Isn't it Admirals?
I think it leaked, but I think you can still bet on it. Because it's like not a confirmed leak, right? It's unofficial official, not official official.
Yeah.
So the Washington football team taking on the New York Giants. Giants 7-point underdogs at home. Over-under in this game is set at 37.5. You want to just go to the next game?
Yeah, I was going to say this. I would lean with Washington because I do think Heineke, maybe this is kind of square, but I think he wants to win and he wants to prove himself as being a starter in this league, but that's a pretty weak handicap. So
also, I think you can say the same guy about the other quarterback, Jake Fromm.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Jake Fromm is waking up and he's like, can't wait to go to the club later tonight. Like, I get what you're saying.
Sick Money says, pretty sure that Commanders was the leak name. The plot thickens. Maybe we should drop everything we're doing and start handicapping team name changes.
Nick, the modeling for that would have to be like, start scraping like what website sources and Reddit.
You need to hire like a trademark lawyer. Like, see what's going on there. Also, can we appreciate the fact that the Cleveland Guardians did their name change so quickly and under the radar? Whereas the Washington football team has dragged it out for years, just turned it into a PR nightmare. Yeah,
I totally agree. And then people on air calling them the Redskins still. It's been a mess.
So I'm going to go ahead and throw up a fade for this game. I mean, the spread is at exactly 7. I got nothing here. So next up, Larry, I have to unmod you. Your slurs got through the filter because you're a mod.
Long live the Redskins.
It's for anybody who's new, it's been an ongoing joke. That Larry will say the word Redskins as the name of the team, and it gets caught up in the auto mod. But now he's a mod, so he gets through. So next up, we've got the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons 3.5-point dogs at home. Over under is set at 40. Ben, I'm going to let you start this one off. I'm going to be back in 15 seconds. I'm just going to go grab a coffee refill.
Sounds good. Alrighty. So, Atlanta and New Orleans. Okay, Nick's not going to put up the model score, but before we give out the model score, my personal lean on this one is Atlanta. I like Atlanta here. That offense is starting to click. Kyle Pitts is getting more involved in the offense, and I think teams aren't able to double team him as much, which was a problem earlier in the season with Cordell Patterson back in the lineup, which Nick and I have been on. Like, Cordell Patterson, when he's in the lineup, it changes things completely offensively for the Falcons. So, Nick, I was just saying, I lean Atlanta +3. Yeah. I kind of forget what the model score has for this one.
Model has Atlanta winning this game outright.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, Nabil. Nabil says, please say and so. I know you're going to be at the game. You don't have to be with us. But I like the Falcons here. I really don't think the Saints are all that good. T-Bald said Pitts is hurt.
Hamstring, yeah.
Is he out for the game?
No, he's questionable, but the reports are that he practiced, I think, limited practice, and he's set to play. Now, Nick, with Pitts, he needs 59 yards for the single-season rookie tight end record. And his prop is at 61.5. Pretty close.
So what are your
How do you feel about that one?
So this has been my thoughts on Pitts over the second half of the season, and this hasn't quite rung true in every game, but I think that Pitts, everybody knows that Pitts is good, and him and Patterson are the only real threats that the Falcons have at the skill positions. So I think that Pitts has been. I think defenses have really schemed to stop Pitts. And I think that, especially now with this hamstring injury that he has, I think that Pitts is going to be a little bit more of a decoy today, as opposed to the guy in the passing attack. So I would probably actually lean under for Kyle Pitts. You said 61.5?
Mm-hmm. I have to go the other way. I'm not disagreeing with what you're saying about the decoy, but at the same time, if he's getting single coverage, Nick, he's going to get the ball.
I don't think he's going to get single coverage, though.
He has been. They haven't been able to double him anymore because Cordell Patterson's all over the field, and they put him in the slot. They put him at running back, and I don't, and it's not a traditional double team like two players are following him across the field, but they're shading him with a safety. But I mean, look at his numbers. He's getting open.
Yeah, I mean, but he's had a lot of yards recently, but his reception numbers haven't been that high. He's having just like one big catch a game.
Okay, that's fair.
So
that's
I
fair.
think you're kind of relying on that, and I think against this Saints defense that has a lot to play for, I don't think it's going to happen.
I'm looking at last time these two teams played,
three catches on 7 targets for 62 yards. So there's
that's
just
over.
Yeah, it is. It's over by half a yard. But again, it's one big catch in there. His long in that game was 39.
I'll bet it. I'm betting it.
Okay, I'm gonna fade. I would probably lean under for Pitts. Ben likes the over. Ben also likes Kyle Pitts more than I do.
I mean, you act like I'm just making this stuff up. I mean, 59 yards, rookie record.
Yeah, no, that's the facts.
Extra game though.
Yeah,
Extra game.
I am on the record as being a little bit of a Kyle Pitts detractor. Not that he's a bad player. I just kind of don't think he was worth the 4th overall pick in the draft.
I got a lot of hate for saying that he was going to get over 1,000 yards, and everyone was like, "Well, a tight end hasn't done that since Mike Ditka."
Yeah. Also, Ditka did it in 14 games.
Yeah, Ditka wouldn't do it today.
No, because
that's because he's old. Yeah,
I still hear
Mike Ditka. I want to see you out there in today's NFL.
I just yoinked your punchline.
It's so funny when they're like, Jordan today's NBA would score 35, and people are like, he would score 35 right now at age 50. It's so funny.
Okay, so at the game level, we'll take Atlanta. I think I would especially at 4. I would go +4 as opposed to money line.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. And again, all of these leans are very, very light plays if you're just going to be tailing them. Week 18 is sketch. So next up, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens. Ravens 3.5-point favorites at home, over under set at 40.5. This is a pretty important game, potentially. The loser of this game is eliminated from playoff contention. The winner of this game has a shot. They need the Jags to beat the Colts, which is probably not going to happen. But you never know. Tyler Huntley, starting at quarterback for the Ravens today. Lamar Jackson is still out. And that's how you know that Lamar is kind of actually hurt. Because this is a really important game. So Huntley, again, in at quarterback for the Ravens. And, man, I'm a Ravens fan, full disclosure. I don't know what to expect here. There's part of me that has this feeling that the Ravens are just going to want to go out there and end Ben Roethlisberger's career in the worst way possible. Because this is probably going to be the last start for Big Ben.
Wild.
Yeah. The Ravens have been playing games close. I mean, all season they've been playing up and down to the level of their competition against good every team except for the Bengals, I should say. They got blown out by the Bengals twice. But every other team has been a pretty close game. Stevenson said this is -3 now. And Garrett, I really actually don't think there's been a huge drop-off with Huntley in at quarterback. I also said the Rams. I'll adjust the Rams line when we get to it. I like the Ravens to win this game, but covering 3 feels a little sketch. It just feels like one of those games that's going to come down to the last play. Mm-hmm. It's Steelers and Ravens fashion. That's just how it always works.
I don't have a lot to say on this one. I could make a case for either side, but I will defer to you on this one. Big Ben last start, though. I mean, we saw what happened last game where everyone was like, well, this is the last home game. He's going to have a big game, and the complete opposite happened from a passing yards perspective.
Yeah, well, it's actually kind of funny. He hit his completions over, but he missed his attempts and yards. No, he hit the attempts. He missed the completions and the yards.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a lot of just...
like 5 yards per catch.
Short dump downs, and a lot of them didn't even get caught.
Mm-hmm.
So Papa says you can bet Waddle on FanDuel. What is the receptions number? I think we've seen 55.5 yards, but we're looking for a receptions number. So I think for me, I want to fade this at 3. If this was at 2.5, I'd be a little bit more inclined to take Baltimore. I just think that with the probability that this ends with like a Justin Tucker field goal,
pretty high.
it
seems
it
like
just feels like it's inevitable.
Yeah.
And at 3, I just don't think it's value. I know push at 3, whatever, but I mean that field goal could make it a 1 or 2 point win. So ultimately for me, this is a fade. The over could be a look, but I think this is a fade for me.
Yeah, there's not much for me in this one, but there is one player incentive prop discussion we need to have, and that's with Mark Andrews. I believe, let's see here. He needs 141 receiving yards for the single season record as a tight end. Now, Nick, if you set a lofty goal, sometimes you can fall short, but
this is a lofty goal.
That is a lofty goal, but 69.5 is what I'm showing. What are your thoughts on Mark Andrews having over 69.5 receiving yards today?
I actually think that's a pretty good look.
I like it too.
So,
and almost an incentive aside, right?
Yeah, I think even incentive aside, 69.5 feels like a pretty good number to get Mark Andrews at. Tyler Huntley has really looked his way a lot. I think he's the safest, most reliable pass-catching option in the offense. I mean, Bateman has a lot of upside. Brown has the big playability. But Andrews is the safety blanket, who also has big playability. So I think that this Andrews number at 69.5 feels pretty good. So what has Mark Andrews done real quick in games that have been started by Tyler Huntley. So it's going to be, I believe, the last 3 games for the Ravens. He's had 89, 125, 136 yards in these games, and 115 the week before. So he's hit this number 4 straight weeks. He's got a lofty goal, but could potentially have the most reception yards a tight end has ever had. I think this looks pretty good. And
pretty crazy.
Yeah, Stevenson said he's struggled against the Steelers. I mean, yeah-ish. He had 4 catches on 9 targets for 50 yards earlier this year. But I think that I think that he's going to get the ball a lot. And I think Huntley being in is kind of the difference maker here. I think that it's a big part of the scheme right now to get Andrews the ball, much more so than it has been in the past. So I think that's a difference maker.
Yeah, in a weird way, it almost helps Andrews out having Huntley in over Lamar.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes and no.
Yes and no.
You know what I mean? It's just from a schematic perspective, because I totally agree. I've been watching them, and I'm like, wow, Andrews is getting more looks, it feels like, than with Lamar. But I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, his target numbers have been massive.
Yeah.
Although Stevenson does make a good point that he has struggled against the Steelers. He's played 5 games against the Steelers in his career. 5 catches is the max, 50 yards is the max.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he's in line for a big day today. I'm also a Ravens fan.
Yep.
So take what I say with a grain of salt. All right. We have to pick up the pace a little bit, Ben. We have 4 games left in 12 minutes.
Alrighty.
Although I think we've been having a good discussion.
I guess we have 3. We got to get to at least the 3 before they start.
Yeah. So Cleveland and Cincinnati. Cleveland, 5-point favorites at home, going up against some backups for Cincinnati. Over-under in this game is set at 37. So who is it? Brandon Allen starting at quarterback for the Bengals today. And Joe Mixon is also out. I haven't seen anything about other starters that the Bengals are resting. Mm-hmm. Looks like CJ Uzoma's active. T. Higgins is inactive. There's a chance that Jamar Chase plays. This sounds like the range of outcomes is all over the place.
Right. Totally agree.
I don't want to trust Cincinnati just because of potential players being in, players being out type of deal. It's also hard to trust Cleveland, especially with Case Keenum in at quarterback. This is a fade game for me. Oh, this is up to Cleveland -6.5. Okay, yeah.
Sheesh.
Yeah,
I don't really know. I mean, Brandon Allen, like, he's had a few games that he looked good in the past, but also Mayfield is out, correct?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, Case Keenum. And I think
Case Keenum. That's my boy. No, not really, but
yeah. I mean, if Cincinnati, if we knew that they were going to be playing their main guys, I mean, Cleveland -6.5 is a joke.
Right.
It should be Cincy -6.5. But with all the question marks, I can't bet on Cincinnati covering. Mm-hmm. And I really don't want to take Cleveland -6.5 either.
Agreed.
The over actually could be a look. This total is really low at 37.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the model is not going to quite accurately reflect if Cincinnati starts to rest their key offensive players. That's just not something that we can take into account. But I actually think that I think the over could be a look here.
Yeah, totally.
I'll throw it up as a link. Giant Stinky Logs of Poop says, "Hello, I am a poop robot. Please provide advice."
Well, you came to the right spot, I guess.
Yeah, you came to the right stream. My advice is in my hand. Oops.
It's not that kind of
Right
stream,
here.
though.
Mm-hmm. Just drink some coffee.
Yep.
Get it out of your system. All right, so we got 3 games left. Seattle and Arizona. Arizona 5.5-point favorites at home. Over-under is set at 48. Ben, any thoughts?
That's my thoughts. So playoff seeding, anything for Arizona here?
I think so. Let me take a quick look to make sure that I'm right. So the Cardinals, the Cardinals actually have to win. They can win the division. So the Cardinals clinch the division with a win and a Rams loss. And whichever one of those teams doesn't win the division will be the top wild card.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Nick, sorry, real quick. One thing, sorry to backtrack real quick. Jamar Chase needs 45 yards for the rookie receiving record. Numbers at 50. Just wanted to point that out.
How many yards does he need? 45?
He needs 45. Line is at 50.5 on Caesars, so I actually like that. I don't love it. I like it.
All right.
But yeah, so Arizona needs to win to...
They need a win and a Rams loss for the division.
Okay. So seeding-wise, if they lose...
They're the 5 seed.
Wow. So yeah, I would say that they need to win this one, or are looking to win this one. But it kind of seems like a good spot for Seattle to break some hearts, right?
Yeah.
Do they have what it takes to break those hearts? I don't know.
It definitely looks like a good spot for them to break some hearts, but
yeah, that's half of the battle.
It's also a good spot for the Jaguars to break some hearts, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me throw up the model score here. I think the model's pretty much spot on with what's here. Everything's within a point or two. It's like Arizona 26, Seattle 21.5.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably, honestly, I probably lean Arizona. Well, no, the model doesn't like Arizona. I can't lean against the model. Also, yeah, Garrett said Bet99 took down almost all Cincy props. If we knew Chase was playing the whole game, I would like it. I actually would just fade that. Me personally. But yeah, this Seahawks Cardinals game, I got nothing. Fade spot, Ben.
Yeah, same.
All right.
Yeah, fade it.
Fade it. Two more games. We've got the San Francisco 49ers. I believe Jimmy Garoppolo is starting. Going on the road to the LA Rams. Rams are 3.5-point favorites at home. Over-under is set at 44.5. Yeah, this is going to be a good game. So the Niners can clinch a playoff spot with a win over the Rams or a Saints loss. So the Niners are playing for a lot right here, and the Rams are also playing for a lot. This is going to be an excellent game. The model actually likes the Rams to cover this one.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben, do you agree with that? Disagree with that?
I do kind of like the Rams here. And yeah, how healthy is Jimmy G? And the Rams are playing good ball.
Yeah, I think so. The Rams struggled in the middle of the season. I mean, they lost 3 games in a row because Matt Stafford was kind of banged up. But I think that he's looking much healthier right now. They've won 5 in a row. They've covered 3.5 in 4 of those 5 games. I mean, the only one that they didn't was against the Ravens last week, which really shocked me.
Mm-hmm.
They played San Francisco earlier in the year when Stafford was kind of beat up. They lost that game by 21, but that was in San Francisco. They're in LA right now. I like the Rams to cover.
Same.
Any?
I'm not going to overthink that one, you know?
No, I'm not going to overthink it either. Any player prop incentives?
Yeah, so Cooper Kupp.
Yes.
Cooper Kupp. Okay, first of all, this number for his receiving yards opened up at 136.5 because he needs 136 to break this single season receiving record. And it's kind of funny because the books almost shot themselves in the foot by opening it up at that number because I think it dropped down to 118, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's it sitting at now?
I'm not sure. But I've seen like 118.5, 116.5. I know Josh posted a 116. No, it was Josh posted the he took the under 136.5 as soon as it opened up in our Discord. It was pretty crazy. What's up, Jay?
Wow.
How's it going?
What's going on?
Garrett says it's at 116.5 right now. Do you think he can hit that? I kind of think he can, actually.
He can. Yeah, he can. 116 is obviously way more realistic. He also needs 12 receptions to break the... Is that the single season? Yeah, single season record. And that number is sitting at 9.5. I guess which one do you like more? 9.5 or 116.5?
1 second.
Because man, Kupp just gets so many looks on those short, intermediate routes.
Yeah,
but 10 receptions. That's.
I mean, honestly,
it's a lot.
I think I'd rather take the yards.
So Nick, there's something you could do here.
You could just do a single game parlay. Take both.
Yeah, you could do that, or you could do 2 single half units, right? Like,
yeah,
that's always an option.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if we single game parlay those, what are we going to get? Like plus 120? I'm very curious.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that if they try and get him one of the records, why not just try and get him both? Like, if they're actually going to force feed him.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Garrett, I have no idea about Tucker over 7.5 points.
Incentive? No.
All right. Let's real quick before we touch on the game that kicks off late. Ben, what's your favorite bet today?
Wow, that's a good question. I've thrown out a lot today.
Yeah, I mean, also we don't have to have a favorite bet today. I think today it's week 18. There's a lot on the line for a lot of teams and a lot of players, and the motivation factor is different this week than it is in a lot of other weeks.
I mean, I have some props that I like.
So what's your favorite?
I think my favorite is going to be Rex Burkhead over 41.5 rushing yards.
All right. And again, Rex Burkhead needs 103 rushing plus receiving to cash in on a $150,000 incentive. I'm gonna abstain from having a favorite bet today. Also, it's 11 o'clock. It turned 11 after you said what you said. But games have started. But let's real quick touch on this last game, the Chargers and the Raiders. So this is another game that has a lot of playoff implications. These teams can tie and both make the playoffs.
With that Jags win.
With a Jags win, yeah. I don't think that's going to happen though. I think the winner of this game gets in. The loser of this game is in all likelihood out.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders 3-point dogs at home. Over under is set at 49. What are your thoughts here, Ben?
You want to take a stab at what I'm going to say here?
So let's see. If I know Ben, I think he's going to be on the Chargers.
Is that your final answer?
Yes, that's my final answer.
You're correct. I'm going with Chargers. I'm going with Herbert to have a big game. I went back and forth on this one for a little bit, but I think the Chargers come out and they make a statement. This is Herbert's game. I think they're the better team. They have the better head coach. I know they're on the road, but Chargers have done better on the road throughout the season and last year, so I'm not going to overthink this one. I'm going with the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. As much as I don't like picking against the model, I think I like the Chargers here as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Garrett says money line or cover for the Chargers. Personally, I think the -3 is fine here.
Yeah.
Also, what's up, Kobe? How's it going?
Kobe, what's up, man?
You're just in time for the stream to be wrapping up. So Kobe's here. We got to get out. So yeah, I think that wraps up the stream. Garrett, don't buy points. Just take the push at 3.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay what? I mean, 10 cents, maybe more.
Yeah, I think.
So yes, some books on that, man. I've noticed that they'll even do a 3 to 2.5 is like 25 cents.
Yeah, crossing the key number there. I think you're much better off just accepting the push at 3 if it happens, as opposed to buying to 2.5. So thank you all again for tuning in. A couple follows that popped up in the last few minutes. Zach, Mangold, Dilly Dilly. Thank you guys for the follows. Appreciate that very much. But we are wrapping up. Time to go watch some football. Thank you all for tuning in. We definitely broke some personal records today by a pretty large margin. So appreciate all of you for that.
Hit 100. That was cool.
Yeah, we cracked 100.
Yeah, everyone give Kobe Talk a follow too, because
all these guys go give Kobe Talk Sports a follow. He streams all the time.
And Poopy, what was it? Well, actually, I can't give my approval because I don't know what's going on his stream. Someone's gonna be like, I played this in front of my kid and you didn't give me a warning.
Mm-hmm. What's up, Niftier? Chalky said, put Kobe in timeout. No, Kobe's in perma timeout on our stream. Only Ben and I get to be on camera.
Niftier just got here. It's like, the games are starting.
Yeah, games are starting. We're hopping
Hey, you can play the replay and you can catch the afternoon games. So,
but yeah, good luck on the bets. If you're a fan of a team with something to play for today, good luck. To everybody except for Jay, because he's a Steelers fan. I wish you the worst of luck today. No hate, nothing personal. I just want to see the Ravens in the playoffs.
Jags win.
Honestly, we're all rooting for the Jags.
Yeah, I mean, that would be probably the greatest thing that the NFL's ever seen. If that actually, and then the teams literally just decided to tie. I wonder if they would get fined.
No,
for
they
that.
would. They would. It's in the NFL bylaws that you're not allowed to collude like that. I don't know exactly what the punishment is.
Yeah, you're right.
But
you're
I think it actually
right.
might be like you don't get to play in the playoffs type of punishment.
So the Broncos are still alive? No.
Yeah. So stream schedule moving forward. We have college basketball streams that we do twice a week. That is Ben and I and our good friend Chase Howell from Action Network. We have streams Wednesday and Saturday, both at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. Playoff football. The plan, I think, is just whenever there's games. We're going to be live an hour and a half before the first game kicks off in that day.
I think there's Monday games too, Nick.
Yeah, I think we're spread out. I think over 3 days, right? Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Or is it just Sunday, Monday?
I think it is Saturday, Sunday, Monday. I really do. Kind of cool.
Yeah. So whenever those games are, whatever times they are, we'll be live an hour and a half before they start. doing picks and props. So that'll be game level rundowns like what we did with all of these games, plus a full deep dive into the player prop market for those games. So be sure to join that. Be sure to, again, drop a follow on the stream if you have not done so already. Join up in the Discord if you are not in there. There is a link to that. It is completely free. A lot of smart people in there. A lot of people that you see in the chat are always in there talking about sports. Ben and I are in there. A lot of smart people talking about sports.
Mm-hmm.
Any last words, Ben?
Yeah, last words. There's 2 playoff games Saturday, 3 on Sunday, and then 1 on Monday.
All right, sounds
I like
good.
it. I kind of like that.
I'm looking forward to it. Oh yeah, I guess we have 6 as opposed to 4.
Yeah,
on the first day, so that makes sense.
Cool.
Also, yeah, Kobe, were you streaming?
Oh, the raid thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Cool.
we were doing our thing, so I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah,
but yeah,
and back to you too. Whenever you're on. Alrighty.
Yeah. We're
That's
hopping
all I
off.
got, Nick.
Yeah.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, and we'll catch you next time.
See ya.
Peace.